Come and repair this nail with me. Grab a brew, take a seat, and let's get started. So first off, grab your glue. I'm using Pro Impressions glue here. It's one of the best ones out there. Then you're going to prise that forward and stop. We're not using glue. We don't use glue on lifted nails here. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you what you do need to do. Now, this really should be done by a licensed professional, licensed nail tech, or it should be done by your licensed nail tech. So don't be trying anything like this and using these e-file bits if you're not qualified or in training. So I'm using, I think it's like a 2x coarse bit with a safety top, and I'm reducing some of the bulk. I want to take out as much of the bulk as possible, but rather than kind of filing down towards the free edge, I'm filing kind of in front of where I think the lift actually stops. What that stops it doing is chasing the lift down more towards the free edge, if that makes sense. So basically I'm almost carving out a little line. In a moment you'll see that literally just pop off. The reason I do this is it just means that I'm not filing over the nail again and again and again. Also make sure, especially with a bit like this, you keep moving. Just it stops the heat building up. I also lay a clear base layer, and times like this is when I really appreciate that, because I can see now there I'm actually at the clear base layer, so I know exactly where the nail bed is. I'm not going to cause any damage, and I'm going to be able to actually see where it kind of comes through. In a moment you'll see like it starts to actually break through the acrylic, which is great. Because there's a lift, I know I can stop filing there and I've not touched the nail bed, but I'm using such a light touch. But you see there, that's exactly where it's just literally broken through, so I'm not going to touch that again. I'm just very gently filing over, and I'm finding more and more of that's coming off. Now, it would be entirely up to you. One of the reasons that I'm repairing this is because it's a really, really intricate design. It would take me a long time to redo the nail. If you have a client that's got a lift like this and they've come in, they've got a solid colour or gel polish over clear, something like that, I'd be tempted to trim the length down, file it as thin as possible, and then soak it in acetone. Oh, and you see that little bit there that just popped off. Oh, so satisfying. I love that. But that's why we carve it out, because it means that that bit of lifting just pops right off with no issues. So just making myself more comfortable here. I'm also going in with a 5-in-1 bit. Now, again, this is very, very fine at the top of the bit, and it just means that I can get any other lifted bits off and it's very precise. I'm not going to hit my own nail plate. And I am then going in with a very soft sanding band. I only use this sanding band on myself, which is why it looks a bit well loved. But yeah, so don't kind of be reusing sanding bands on people. I am just using that to get any remaining lift off. And also when I use my dehydrator in a moment, that will also melt off any remaining lift or anything like that. You'll see there, anything that's kind of like any tiny little bits that still might be lifted, it will melt that straight off because it's got a bit of acetone in it. So then I go in with my Young Nails Protein Bond, and then I go in with my bead to recreate the nail bed. So it's just exactly the same as creating a new nail bed, but kind of almost in reverse. So rather than doing the cuticle bead and then, the bead in front of it for the smile line and then the cuticle bead, we're doing the cuticle bead last. I am using my brush just to push that into the cuticle and make sure that's really nice and flush. And I'm trying to do as much of the work with my brush as possible just to make sure that's nice and smooth and slick. Nice and smooth and well refined. So it means that I'm doing less work refining with my nail file and my hand file afterwards. So again, you've got quite a bit of time to work with this. I think this particular acrylic is CJP, and it's really lovely to work with. I really enjoy working with it. So then you go in, I'm going in with my clear just to make sure my structure is good, because obviously I have filed some of that out, and I'm just smoothing that down. You will notice, I hope, that I left that to sit for a little while before I start blending it. It just means that it doesn't disappear when it's on the nail. So you'll see that that's pretty much perfect, to be honest with you. It's very little filing needed. I just go over that with my 5-in-1 bit again. If you haven't got one of these, I'd recommend them because they're great. I can use this to get rid of gel polish. I can use it, well, gel polish on builder gel, that kind of thing. It's a really versatile bit, and it's great for refining because it is such a fine grit at the top of the actual e-file bit. So then I am just going round the cuticle and just making sure that's all nice and flush. In a moment I'll go in with my hand file and just make sure it's really well refined. Looking at all angles there, you'll see. So I'm looking down the barrel, I'm looking from the side, I'm just trying to make sure that shape's really in there. With a Russian almond, shape is super important. If you are enjoying this, please do give me a like and a follow, as I'm dropping new content all the time. And let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, because I love to hear from you. And also, would you wear this colour combination? Personally, it's one of my favourites, but I'd love to know what you think. So then go in with your hand file, give that all a really good smooth off. This one is from Kirsty Meakin. It's a really, really lovely file, especially for a long nail like this. Oh, it's so nice to use. And because it's metal, it really helps keep the shape and make sure those edges are nice and crispy. And it means that when you go over the top with your buffer, I don't know why, but because using a buffer on a kind of a metal nail file, it just makes it even smoother, in my opinion, when I'm buffing at the end. It's like a 120 grit buffer, and it's just gorgeous. You'll see, yeah, just there. So that's it all done. I need to then top coat, cuticle oil, all that good stuff, and you're done. I do hope this helps, but if you've got any questions, comments, anything you'd like to know, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye now.